All right, let's go to our last caller here, and this is going to be Dan, who I've trying to had call in for a long time because he's got a cool hand here. Hello, Dan from Pennsylvania.
Hey, how's it going?
Yeah, before the setup, the reason why I think this is really interesting is because I actually put up a highlight video from TCH several months ago. I think Jwin folded a set or folded a full house, which was quite an amazing fold for live poker. And Sue, who I would say maybe is late 40s, glasses, kind of looks like
Yeah,
a librarian type, little heavy set. She had quads, and
she
I think
did.
I think the
She
title
did.
of the video is Full House Folds, right? So
I think
that's
it's the lodge. I don't think
it's
it
the
was
lodge,
TCH. I
right?
think it was the lodge. Yeah,
Right. So that's
but
the setup for this villain, and she seems to play pretty solid. So we have to go in looking at that. I didn't see her do anything that was
correct.
really out of line. So this is a solid villain.
No, not at all.
Yeah.
And there was a maniac right to the left of me, and had he not been in the hand, I would have played this hand totally different.
Okay.
But so it's a 2-5 1K cap. We're playing 2-5-10 and 2-5-10 with a blind 20 at some point.
Mm-hmm.
We were there at this point probably 8 hours or so. So
This is at
it was
Parks
a pretty
or
long session. No, this is at Wind Creek, which used to be the Sands in Bethlehem.
okay. Yeah. Oh, I'm
Um,
familiar.
it was one of the first casinos to open in Pennsylvania. So pre-flop action, I'm in the straddle, and next to act is this maniac who's been opening from anywhere from like $60 to $100. Like he was nuts. He had to be down like $7,000.
Okay.
So he opens the 35, which was a little weird, but it was on the smaller side. Sue called, folded back around to me,
So where's Sue?
and MP2.
Okay. MP2. Okay.
And then I complete in the straddle. It's just a $10 straddle on this one. With 5 of hearts, 5 of spades.
Okay. And about how deep are the stacks?
Yeah, so I'm 1550. The maniac's about 800, and Sue's got about $2,000.
Okay. So the guy who opens got 800, and then Sue covers. Uh. Okay. Okay. Sounds good.
So pretty straightforward kind of pre-flop action. And then the flop came out 5 of clubs, 4 of clubs, 2 of diamonds.
Okay.
So flop top set.
So 5 of clubs, 4 of clubs, deuce of diamonds. You've got 5 of hearts, 5 of spades. Not a bad flop here. So 5-5. Okay.
Correct.
Mm-hmm.
I check
Mm-hmm.
just because I figured the maniac was going to just blast. That's what he's been doing.
Sure.
And he leads out for 140.
Okay.
And then it gets to Sue. She thinks maybe 15, 20 seconds and makes it 425.
So MP2 to 425.
Oh, yeah, MP2, sorry.
Yep.
Yep.
Okay. So this is why this is really interesting.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So I kind of.
So don't tell us what you did here. Let's just talk through it here. So five of clubs, 4 of clubs, deuce of diamonds. Here's got top set completing out of the straddle. Check to the maniac guy who bets 140, who's burned through the money. Now you have a solid player who raises. A solid
Correct.
player who raises to 425. Now you guys are 1500. So it's actually, this might be a little bit more interesting if it was deeper, but
You know what, Bart? I think it was deeper.
Okay.
Because, and when I say it might have been like 16 and a quarter, it wasn't significantly deeper, but it was in that range. I remember when it got back to me, I had about 1550. Come to think of it.
Okay, so I'm going to put you up.
So
I'm going to put you at like
action.
7, maybe like 7. Okay. Oh, I see. Yes, 1650, something like this. So here's my thoughts on this: is that, again, this is a situation where, okay, usually when someone raises post flop, they're not going to fold, right? I mean, that's sort of aggressive action theorem. now, from what I saw from this villain is that she was pretty solid. Now, if I put myself in the villain spot here, if there's ever times where I actually might fold a set, it's when you get a lot of, and we're thinking about it from the villain spot. The reason why I'm trying to think about it from the villain spot is that we're trying to think about the best way for you to play the hand. Because if you're in the villain spot and you're super solid, and there's especially a three straight. Now, this isn't a perfect smooth three straight. It's deuce 4-5. The difference being that there are more straights out there, three consecutive cards. But if you have like bottom set on a three straight board or on a board like this, now you're losing to top set, middle set, and combinations of straights here, right? Like if it was 3-4-5,
Right.
you might have several different ones. Middle set's really, really close if I'm Sue. Like if I make it 425 and you check jam and I think you're solid too, that's really close because both you and I have some ace three suited. You might have some ace three off, which I'm not a huge fan of, somebody V-pipping, but we'll see it a lot. And you might even have like 6-3 suited here too. And I don't think you're going to check raise like with two pair. So if I'm sitting there and I'm the villain and I'm solid and I've got deuce, deuce, or 4-4, I would really deuce, deuce. I think if you check jam, I very well might fold. Now it's 1,200 more. Like if she goes 425 and you jam, and let's say that the other guy, goes out. So it's like 521. It would be like 23, like 11 for her to call. So she'd be getting 2-1. So that's why I said like it might be a little bit more interesting if you were deeper, because here's the thing. If you think that you're only so deep where she has to call with any set, then it's probably okay to just check jam because she's getting like 2-1 and she's almost getting the right price. But when you emailed this in, I thought like a more efficient way to play this would actually be to call. It's a little bit of a gamble. It's to call, let the maniac possibly shove behind you, or let him continue on, get more money in there with his overpair. If you call, the maniac might go with aces. He might go with kings. And then Sue's going to have to call off to him or reship, right, with that bottom or middle set. So you don't make her have some sort of crazy time for like some sort of hero fold. The other thing, too, is that obviously she can have ace-3. Obviously, you're never folding. I'm just trying to think of the most efficient way to play this. If you were definitely deeper, I think the best way to play this against a solid player is to call. Now, what could you have for calls here? Well, you could have a slow play, like an ace-3 of clubs type of hand, just like stone, or 6-3, like stone cold type of nuts here, like 6-3 might be one. You could have a nut flush draw, which would be a gutter and clubs, something like that. So I think against sort of a solid player that could have raise folds against a crazy strong action, like in this case, then calling with strong hands might be efficient. Yours is a little bit in between, but I think that would probably be the best way that I would play it. I would call.
Yeah, I wasn't happy with what I did in retrospect. I guess so. The first thing I didn't do correctly was,
now people are saying, well, Sue has an overpair. Well, okay, Sue has an overpair. If the guy jams, he's just going to get probably folds out from both play. He might get the maniac to fold out too.
Yeah.
I mean, overpairs don't have that much equity against sets of fives.
I think I didn't have enough table awareness, and with only playing maybe once every 3 weeks for maybe the last 7 months, kind of getting back into poker. I guess I didn't know how much the maniac had. He was kind of blocking his chips, and I didn't want to make like a sudden kind of, and I should have asked how much he had. If I knew he only had 800, I was more worried about him than her. I thought he was closer to 1,400 as well. And he would call, with like ace-6 of clubs. Like the way this guy played was, I've never seen anything like it. So that's kind of, I said, you know what? Do you want me to go ahead and reveal?
Yeah, I mean, just even before you reveal, I think it's even more of a reason to call, because I think if you call, the maniac jams, and then if Sue does have deuce or 4-4, then she can't fold. Whereas if you check jam, she might be able to hero fold deuce in a given situation.
Yeah.
So it sounds to me like you jammed, or what?
Yep. And that's exactly, the maniac folded pretty quick, and it got back to Sue, and she thought about it for, not as long as I would have thought, maybe 30 seconds, and flipped up deuce and laid it down. And I was like, wow.
No.
So if I would have flatted, I would have got all the money on the turn most likely, unless a flush card came or another straight card. But
obviously I didn't
left
know
a lot of value
but...
on the table. I know.
Well,
I didn't. Yeah, I didn't. Yeah. So I shifted. I just kept thinking, kind of fast play, get the money in, and I figured if she's making it 4.25,
hmm
she either had a massive combo draw, which I don't even think Sue would be that aggressive with a massive combo draw, or a set, and I didn't think she'd lay a set down.
well, I mean, the
Um,
only massive combo, she can't really have a straight draw flush draw
I
combo.
guess
I
not
mean,
massive,
well,
but
because the only hand that she's going to have a three that's going to have a three in it, that's a sort of a big combo draw is ace three, which is already
right.
a straight. So like ace six of
Sure, sure.
clubs, ace deuce of clubs, maybe. I still think that there's a propensity to call, with those types of hands. I do understand the reason to not want to have an action card killer come, but again, from her perspective, I think bottom set becomes almost a trivial fold. In these spots, I think middle set's really close because if she has middle set, then if I'm her, I'm thinking, where are you ever overplaying here? Deuce deuce. What would you have done with deuce deuce here?
I'd have probably paid it off.
What does that
I
mean?
find it. I would have called. I would have probably called my all in. Oh, you mean if I had deuce deuce in my seat, or if I was in
No,
her seat?
no. If you had deuce deuce instead of 5-5,
I mean, I'd like to think I would have done the same thing.
that you would have check jammed. I mean, it's really hard to just go full deuce deuce, right? Like if it goes bet from a
It is.
maniac
It is.
raise, I would have a hard
I,
time just folding. I don't, and it's weird with your stack sizes, so
well, that was the other
it
thing.
kind of makes it makes it seem like she would have to call off with 4-4. So if she has to call off with four
Right.
four, and then she has deuce deuce, she's got half and half, and almost like she's priced in. I mean, she made a nice laydown. I just think that
She did.
there's added sort of nuance to this hand because even ridiculous maniacs sometimes can find folds. And if he bet
Yeah.
out with like tens and she raised and you check jammed, a guy might find a fold with tens. Whereas if you called and made it look
True.
like a draw, he just goes with it, goes with like tens
Right.
or
Right.
jacks. And then now she can't fold anything. So then you get the money from all of them, right?
Yeah. It's one of those ones I should have played probably the riskier way for more value and just let kind of let the cards come out.
And the other just little caveat to this too is that people are like, well, what about action card killers that can come? Certainly they can come, but it also allows the hand to reveal its equity a little bit too because she's probably gonna be betting any blank on the turn, so you can just get it in with her. So if the turn's like
Right.
an offsuit
Right.
10, you don't have to worry about it getting checked through. And then like if the turn is like the 6 of clubs or the 3 of clubs, well, you play accordingly. It would have come anyways if you got it in. So now
Right. Right.
you have extra information, right? Sometimes you'll see some of the computer stuff. Actually, it used to be a thing where people used to poo-poo it. Like, you don't wait for safe cards. That's stupid. But now you actually see a lot of reflection of, especially when deeper than this, you don't start putting money in until you have more of an equity advantage. So if you're in a given situation where somebody's range, and this is not exactly this situation, but if somebody's range is like straights and huge combo draws, right? And you have a set, you don't start putting money in until you have more of an equity edge, right? Because if somebody has a straight or a huge combo draw and they're just going to see two cards, you don't have that much of an equity edge to start piling.
Right. Right.
So,
And there's no value to clicking it back, right? I mean, that's just at our
no,
stack
I
depth.
don't
That's
think so.
pointless.
Okay,
That's
that doesn't make any
basically
sense.
a ship it, right? Yeah. That's.
Yeah.
I was thinking, could I have done anything other than call or jam? And I don't think
Not
think there was.
with these stack sizes. No,
Yeah.
I don't think so.
Okay.
Appreciate the call. Thank you very much.